Well, hello, that's me again. It's August 19th. It's Friday. I will try to make a shorter video today, but let's start first with the fact that my book came out in Poland now, the third one, Disintegration, and it's called Rozpad in Polish, and my Polish friends and people who prefer to read things I write in Polish or native languages, so there you go. You have now the Polish edition of my third book, and the first and third book, Losing Military Supremacy and the Disintegration, they should be coming out in Germany fairly soon too. And those people who constantly ask me about the fourth book, am I writing it? Well, yeah, I'm working on it, but again, you have to understand that writing about geopolitics against the background of what is going on right now in Ukraine, it's very difficult to write some sensible book and say, oh yeah, meanwhile this special military operation continues. Obviously, I'm waiting for some kind of the at least intermediate conclusion or inflection point, which is already kind of happening as I speak to you. And this is what I'm going to talk about a little bit today for people to understand that reality and the way things proceed, they really do not work out that well for the Western elites. And I will start with seemingly irrelevant thing. Well, not irrelevant, it's relevant, but whenever we talk about the British elites, it doesn't mean that all people there are Liz Trusses or Bodgers, albeit I would probably not going to be very much mistaken when I say that majority of them are. Those are power-hungry people who, without any principles, any convictions, and they will say and do anything what is required for them to stay in power. But of course, this man, John Laughlin, remains one of those people who probably, as a Russian, we would, imagine the best of the British elites be in 70s or 80s, an extremely articulate, exquisitely educated man. And this is the screenshot of the video here of his speech he made early July on the Ukraine Forum, which was held in Amsterdam, I believe. And here, basically, all of his 26-minute speech was perfect and spot on, except for one thing, that he thought that Putin was being expedient by trying to assault or invade, what have you, Ukraine because of the America's exit from, a few months earlier, exit from Afghanistan. I disagree with him on that. Because actually, as it is known today, basically the Russian intel, and unlike American intel, when Russian intel says something, most likely it's going to be true. The Ukraine and its Western curators were preparing their assault on Donbass, Lugansk and Donetsk areas, regions, early March. So Russia was forestalling, basically. And other than that, his speech is excellent, superb, I would say. And he is absolutely correct when he talks about that all of it is fiction. The war of fiction, European Union is fiction, NATO is essentially fiction, American military might, while not completely fiction, but it's also primarily fictional. And many people definitely cannot live with that. They cannot accept this reality, but I've been writing about reality for many years, and yeah, reality as a gravity is a bitch, you cannot fight it. Eventually it's gonna, hit you, and it's gonna break you or, puncture your bubble, and it's gonna bite, and it's gonna hurt like hell. And this is what is happening right now. And this is what I need to kind of go over today. Recently there, well, not recently really, just 3 days ago, one of the brigade commanders from Zaporozhye, in Zaporozhye now, this is the brigade from Lugansk actually, and he was talking about the actual scale of Ukrainian losses. And he uses all kinds of intelligence and, of course, field information. And it was published by RIA News. You can look it up if you need to. So basically, he says, yeah, they cover up as much as they can, but a real scale of their losses is such. It's about 200,000 killed and about 300,000 of their irrevocable sanitary. That means people who are wounded in such a way that basically they cannot return to the battlefield, which explains, of course, the situation with their not only drafting now all kinds of people from 65 years old and women, but it also explains this, which is not only, it is confirmed, it is known fact that it was happening, but now a Russian Ministry of Defense states, and it's very unequivocally, that, for example, one of the remaining Nazi battalions, what have you, brigades called Kraken, no less, that's what they do. They made basically the show trial and show execution of about 100 Ukrainian soldiers from the destroyed 58th Motor Rifle Brigade. And it was done basically to intimidate the rest of the VSU, whatever is left there, personnel. But this is your kind of guys, this is the type of military, and these are the guys who trained by MI6, CIA, and Pentagon people. Yeah, great guys, very good in terms of definitely punitive action, rape women, rob them, kill children, and people like that. They just don't want to get in front of to the front line and face, let's say, even Lugansk and Donetsk militias. Forget about regular Russian troops, because they know they will be wiped out really fast. But that's what they do. They do those show trials and executions, but even with this now there are a significant increase in POWs, because many people who are basically recruits without any experience, and they're thrown as the cannon fodder into this meat grinder. They try to surrender whenever they can. Yeah, that's, as you already know, and I spoke about it, all those combat veterans from United States, UK, what have you, from Afghanistan and Iraq, and they also on record saying that no, this is not kind of war we like to fight, because you're gonna you're gonna get killed. Yeah, that's what it is. That's the main object of war, to kill the enemy, destroy him. So, and that's what is happening now there, and I think so. I'm not going to be describing what is going on, but I think so on Monday you will have a very interesting broadcast for now, so don't quote me on that, but it has been confirmed so far, and we'll be talking, I'm not going to be telling you who, we'll be talking there about this whole situation and how this illusion and fiction, which is being sold to the Western public by Western elites, will be discussed too, and that is why this lecture by McLaughlin is so wonderful and so spot on. Now, and that brings us to this thing. Al Jazeera, and not only Al Jazeera, obviously they refer to Reuters, and Reuters probably saw it from some other source, whatever. But this is the basically news which drive people in Washington, D.C. and London mad. I mean, they absolutely drive them absolutely mad, and they begin to hate Russia and Russians even more. They obviously hate Putin, And as you can see yourself, Russia is expected to pocket $337.5 billion this year on energy exports alone, according to an economy ministry document seen by Reuters news agency. Yes, Russia generally cuts down its energy export to Europe, and she will continue to do this, but yeah, it's still, she is awash in cash, and that explains also, partially, don't quote me on that I said it's fully. No. Even without this, Russia would have been able to do what she's doing right now. But that definitely helps, and that allows Russia to conduct special military operation precisely in the manner she does it. And just to illustrate it to you, how bad for Ukraine situation is, apart from other signs which I already discussed in other videos. Alexander Khodorkovsky, a very famous person in LDNR, he is brigade commander and a very prominent not only a military leader of the Lugansk militia, but he is also very important, so to speak, media figure who is allowed on the federal channels, and you know, he absolutely was on point about 2-3 days ago when he stated, you know what, at this point, even if he's talking about Russian forces, you know, and Donbass forces, would standing still, we would still be winning this war, because basically the process of the destruction, as I already showed it to you, and complete decomposition of the Ukrainian resistance is demonstrated by this decimation or show execution of the personnel. So there you go. And when you have this person telling you this, but yeah, it's just a matter of time, and Russians trying to do it as much accurate as possible to preserve as many civilian lives as is humanly possible under the circumstances. So that's the other thing. And that is why we have obviously this wonderful guy, and we know this guy, Mr. Orban, who basically speaks quite openly that, yeah, Ukraine conflict could end Western hegemony, and it is quite possible that it will be this war that will demonstratively put an end to Western supremacy, Orban said. Just 2 days, 1 day actually ago, and this is what I'm trying to constantly stress, but again, I don't say anything new here. Anybody who have a half brain, basically, they understand. Russian war is not with Ukraine and whatever will be left of it. Russian war is with the combined West, and again, the crucial, so to speak, kill the cognitive dissonance, or otherwise created, for example, for many people in the West who are still, you know, drinking this Kool-Aid, is always like this. Why Russia does what she does, and why West is losing, and actually, I'm on record, actually it's already lost, and especially militarily. Well, again, ask this simple question. Show me who the West defeated in the last 20 years. Really. What kind of war did they win? What military leader of the note they produced? Zero. Zilch. So you want them now to use this proxy, which is Ukraine, and its brainwashed population, not all, but most of it anyway. So, and you think that they, even by arming it and command and controlling it, will do better against the top-notch adversary? Well, again, compare military history of Russia and, for example, United States. Russian general staff, Russian Navy, they are older than the United States as a country. This is not to say that American soldier is necessarily bad. No, American soldier generally is good soldier. It's, you know, under some circumstances, it could be very heroic and, you know, very skillful and things like that. But as I already spoke about this a few weeks ago, and again, look up my previous videos, as, and again, not Russian regulars. I'm talking about the LDNR militias. When they say, yeah, you can immediately recognize the Western NATO soldiers, for example, because they maneuver better, the Americans, you know, Polish and British, they maneuver better, they move slightly better than regular VSU or Nazi battalions. But say, it doesn't matter, you know, they're not contest for us, we're going to annihilate them. And that's what was happening. Anyway, so, and when you talk about the table of equipment, organization of equipment of the, for example, the US Army, you will see yourself that basically it's TOE of the country which can only fight the expeditionary warfare against the third-rate world, third world country or third-rate military. It's not technologically basically designed to fight a peer. So, and that's how it works, guys. And if you look now, after what Orban stated, at this, you suddenly begin to recognize that, why is he calling? Macron calls Putin. basically Putin, I love this peak. And of course Macron thinking that he decides anything and he can do something on his own. You can see the Putin's face here. And as somebody in comments stated, yeah, I mean, the caption to this photo of the talk with Macron should be, you know, next. Just don't waste my time, you know. And it is the same import in terms of the international news as Putin visiting the bathroom, and that's pretty much it. At this stage, no matter what Europeans do, these are their sons of bitches who try to assault Zaporozhye nuclear power station. It is from the blessing of the United States and London. So let them deal with this. They want to start next Chernobyl. Oh, at some point of time they may start it. So just look at the dominating air flows in Europe and see yourself what if they really blow something up there. See where it will all go. But again, you know what? These are your sons of bitches. But in the same time, constant Ukrainian shelling and attacks on their nuclear power station in Zaporozhye, and especially the storage of their basically disposal storage for the radioactive materials is one of the perfect signs of the desperation and basically the feel on the Ukrainian side, for example, that basically they get the idea that West is not interested in them anymore that much. So, but what can I say and what do I know really? But we go further. So we go to basically further to Europe and look what we have here. Now they say, oh my gosh, you know, energy prices trigger the industrialization in Germany. And as one of the Germany's economists and specialists in economy, I don't know what does it even mean anymore in the West, who those economists are, but still he gets the idea, and that's what he writes about, which is kind of Captain Obvious, or like duh. It's the longer these price rises go up, the more this will be felt across the economy of Germany. The magnitude of the increase and magnitude of the crisis isn't comparable to anything in the past few decades. Well, I can tell you what it is. It is basically deindustrialization of Germany, which is in the progress. Is the United States happy about it? Some people in the United States certainly happy about the deindustrialization of Germany. And considering the fact that Germany, and go to the International Energy Agency, it's all there. Look up the prices for businesses on electricity for Germany. They are second highest in the world. And now when you have these prices, especially with natural gas going up like crazy, it's 2,600 now, dollars per 1,000 cubic meters. Mr. Novak, who is one of the most powerful people in the world, and he's the Minister of Energy of Russia, and Gazprom and people of this nature, they say, hey, by the start of winter, it could be $4,000 per 1,000 cubic meters, so it's basically tenfold increase in price. So, and yes, this is what Europe wanted, and many people in United States, they look at this destruction of German economy, and they think that, hey, part of German technologies, not that there's that many of those German technologies anymore. This is not the Germany of the 60s, 70s, and 80s, but still some of it can go, so to speak, onshore, or will transition or, you know, transfer themselves to the United States, including German money. Well, that might be true, but it doesn't resolve the issue of Germany being absolutely deindustrialized. And maybe somebody still remembers about this Morgenthau plan. I'm not saying the Germans will be tending in the nearest 20 years all those beet fields, as Morgenthau presented this plan to Eisenhower in 1945, which appalled the Ike to the, you know, to the bone. But looks like somebody's, you know, doing this, and they're doing it by sabotaging Europe energy supplies, and Russians writing off Europe as such, as a civilization. And that is why when this argument comes up that, but Russians are interested in preserving Europe as the market. Well, that's only partially true, but basically civilizationally and largely economically too, Russia written Europe off. They are not normal people, they're elites, and you cannot negotiate and talk to them about anything. So until the regimes in Europe are swept away and until EU is destroyed, as such, as organization, until people like Scholz or this idiot from Belgium, what's his name, Michel, whatever the hell, the absolute moron, the chief of the European Commission, people like von der Leyen are put out of job and preferably also put on trial for destruction of European civilization. Russia is not going to talk to Europe. There's nobody to talk to. And again, when Macron calls Putin, I mean, and trying to present himself and French people, and I understand them, they begin to write in all those, comments to all that, that's how we fall back, down, far down, that's how the guy is clown. I'm sorry, French people, with all my due respect for wonderful French culture and all that, I mean, but Paris is a shithole, and then, of course, you elected him, I didn't. I mean, I'm sorry, somebody elected this creep and his mother, to power, and not that, I'm not a specialist in French politics, but, Marine Le Pen, although she is also a political animal and she does it primarily for herself, but she was defeated in the landslide. I'm sorry, you did it to yourself, live with that, face the consequences, as Russians did in the 90s. Russians went through essentially their almost semi-genocide by those liberal globalists who, and guess what? Yeah, Russia lost millions of people as the result of those sadistic reforms, which in reality were nothing more than robbery. For example, me ending up with my family in the United States was a direct result of that, of the collapse of the Soviet Union, of the de facto civil war, quoting President Putin, which was happening then, and basically those reforms. Russians learned their lesson. You can look at Russia today. So somebody has to learn their lesson. And I'm sorry, you know what, there is no easy of learning this until people begin to feel, as Russians did in 1990s, the price, up to the point of people dying sometimes from hunger, from drugs, from alcoholism, some of them being taken as the basically hostages by organized crimes, by the organized crimes, basically war, hot war. Many people being killed because of that and all this nature. So 90s in Russia is the horror time. So Western Europe and Europe in general and the United States are facing this now. And Germany is leading the way by electing the absolute morons, unprincipled and fully blackmailed by the American elites, and that's what it is. Nothing could be done about it until population understands what it has done to itself. It's your elite, Germany. Macron is French president. He's not Russian president. And fact is, again, he defeated Marine Le Pen in the landslide. So, hey, face the consequences. Do I have sympathy for you? Yes, to a certain degree, of course, I do. But other than that, I mean, you made your bed, sleep in it. That's the reality. And as correctly Laughlin said, you created the fiction. And European population, the same as American population, who voted for this mummy, for the person who is absolutely incoherent. He should be in the basically, senior houses, being taken care of because of his dementia and Alzheimer's, what have you. You made your bed. I didn't vote for Biden. As much as I hate Trump, and I voted for Trump because I was choosing the lesser evil between the two. But there you go. Everything has consequences. This is the classic, simple philosophical issue of the cause and effect. You want to treat the illness, you want to get healthy, look at the causes. If not, bye-bye. And that's what Russia is doing. So, and yeah, Russia has been transferring her business primarily to the Asia, and I think so it's a very smart and very important decision, not only for the economic reasons, but also because of the military reasons. And I will be talking about it, you know, at some time later. And this is very important because, obviously, I just want to make a brief statement on this issue because, yeah, it falls on Russia's shoulders to be the military superpower. China is not there yet. She is gigantic economically, but it will be Russia which will be leading the way, and she is already leading the way of the gigantic in its scale economic and partially political integration of the gigantic Eurasian space, and Europe chose to kill itself. So it's their decision. So this is it for today, guys, and as always, those who like what I do, please subscribe to my channel, and those who can afford, please support me on my Patreon. And again, my profound thanks to my wonderful patrons who support me on Patreon. Without you, this wouldn't be happening, including my blog. So this is it for today. Have a nice weekend, guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.